So I'm sitting right outside that shed that is next to the house where I think upper level staff lived when I was here. So that shed, basically there were rare occasions when we slept down the hill. Like around Christmas time, we were in the schoolhouse for a couple days, and sleeping with sleeping bags from the shed instead of our own, which were up the hill. I remember a time when it snowed and we were in the schoolhouse instead of up the hill. Trying to remember. And I remember a trip that my group did where we had to get tents and sleeping bags from in there. And also when I got put on the trek punishment, the backpacker backpacks were in there. And you know, all the camping supplies I had to carry on my back while walking 15 miles a day. And that's another story that I'm about to tell in another video. Yeah, well, there was a problem with the things in there. So a common problem here, there were mice and rats that would chew holes in the sleeping bags, and there were mice feces, and they were disgusting. So I know other girls were thrilled on the rare occasion that we could sleep down the hill in the schoolhouse, which is behind me, because basically it meant that we had, you know, heat, AC, well, in that case, heat, because, you know, it was winter when I remember staying in there. And I remember at Christmas, we were allowed to watch movies while we stayed in there. Like, I guess there was a TV or something. Yeah. So, I guess other girls look forward to it, but I dreaded sleeping in those awful sleeping bags with the mice chew holes and the feces. Yeah. And I'm afraid to know how much mice feces I ingested because of, you know, the dishes, the camping dishes I'd use on trek, and also our kitchen, which was a separate building from our cabin up the hill, also had a mice problem, and they would, or rats, I don't know if it was mice or rats, but basically we saw feces everywhere in that kitchen, and they would chew holes in the food that we would carry up the hill. We ate dinner, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the dining hall Monday through Friday, and then we had one meal on Sunday in the dining hall. But the rest, like all the meals on Saturday and 2 of the meals on Sunday, we had to cook them on a wood burning stove in our kitchen on our campsite. And yeah, I'm afraid to know how much those dishes got mice feces on them too, considering how our food got chewed through by mice. And then, yeah, if we got the campsited punishment where our group was, you know, forced to stay on our campsite, you know, we ate in the kitchen for every meal and probably ingested a ton of mice feces. Not to mention having to carry a 10-gallon got of water up the hill, which was very leaky and very heavy. And of course, luckily most of the time, stronger, bigger girls usually carried it, because I was like tiny when I got to Paint Rock. But the one time I had to carry the 10-gallon got was when I was on run risk, so I didn't have shoelaces, and you know, it was already the 10-gallon got was already too heavy for me. And yeah, I had to stop a lot, and they were getting annoyed with me, and yeah, that was all kinds of fun.